All right, well, we're back. Sorry, this is our first video, so we didn't pay for the upgraded trials. We got cut off at 15 minutes, so I kind of forgot where we were at. But I don't know. I that's kind of your intro into NFTs, but I'd love to hear, like, because I know your first couple were like total rugs. And like I remember you like asking about these projects, and I was like, I don't know. Yeah, Sean O'Malley one. I was like, dude, I wouldn't touch that. And then you were like, yeah, you're so hyped. I was like, all right, dude, you got to figure it out yourself. But what was your first NFT that you bought?
Yeah, I have definitely run into my fair share of fun in the non-traditional sense in this space. There's no question about that. The first NFT I bought was not anything to write home about. At least I see that now. At the time, I thought it was the best thing to, since sliced bread.
What was
It
the name of it?
it was called the Bullied Bears Club. Well, actually, let's back up a little bit. It was called the Bossy Bear Club. And really, let me be frank. Like the thing that attracted me to it was I came into the space to make money. Well, my understanding of the benefits of the space have changed. When I first got into the space, and maybe still from the overarching perspective, it's I came in here to make cash, right? And so what really attracted me about this project was they promised 10% of the royalties from the sale to the owner forever, period. And so I was like, well, that's really cool. Allegedly, it was written down in the smart contract. Everything was all in there. Of course, I would have no way to double check that, even if I had access to, what that was. I wouldn't know what to look for and say, oh, yeah, right there it is, the 10% royalties. I got it. But as someone who was new into the space, I had all these grandeur promises, and to be honest with you, it definitely got the best of me. I don't even remember what the mint was. It was less than point 0.1, I believe. Maybe it was 0.11. And yeah, it was my first NFT. I bought into it. It was also one of the largest lessons I have learned. It's the only NFT I would say that was um able to experience the full rug pull. The only one that I've been in that was just like, I mean,
Like a rite of passage.
fully, like totally rug pulled. And, really, to make a long story short, what happened is they didn't mint out. The community kept pushing for more and more, I guess, from the devs, and the pressure got too much for them. So before they just up and left, they airdropped the remaining, like I think it was 60% probably of the mint supply to the holder. So everybody who had one bear, you got 3 bears airdropped to you. And so they said, well, at least we're not just running off with the collection. It's yours now. And so, as you can imagine, the value went to the dirt. The founders took their money and left. And I paid for a really great lesson. That's what I'll say.
So that's the
But
only one. That's the only
I've
project you
lost
had.
on other plays for sure, but that's like the truest rug pull where I mean, literally, we were invested in the project and the founders just left, gone, no
So you were
word
in
from
you were in the
anybody.
Discord, like
Oh
just
yeah,
getting after it.
oh yeah, for sure. I was
You're like champion the cause.
Yeah,
Wagman.
I was telling all
Oh,
my friends
what's up,
about it.
fam?
They were having, they were trying to establish a DAO. They were having elections, so I'm in here running for these elections.
Oh.
I'm making different fan art. I'm participating in all the competitions. Anytime they're saying like tweet raid, everybody go. I'm waking up at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, like, oh, I gotta help them raid this tweet. Do it for the community. And the
Oh.
whole time, I didn't realize that Bossy Bear Club was synonymous with like BBC, which has a whole different alternate meaning. So I'm out here saying BBC for life, just like you said, championing the cause. And then they had like a DMCA filed against them, so they changed their name from Bossy Bear Club to Bullied Bear Club. And I think it's
I'm
just
trying
like
to
a
find it
sequence
on
I should have
OpenSea.
known.
Bullied
Bear Club. Yeah, hold on. This is a great opportunity for us to try out our
Bear. Bullied Bears. Bearz.
There
Bullied
it is.
Bears.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Let's go ahead and turn on what you got.
Oh wow! Look at look at the price on
Woo! Look
this.
at that art,
Point
though.
0.001. Okay, hold on. I want to just go back to all-time stats. And well, hey, look, someone bought one 4 days ago. So
Nice.
there might be a chance.
There is chance. Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay, so
this
look
is
at
like
this. Look at this. The first day, so shot up. What is this? Point 0.04. Was that the min price? And then look at this. Just flat.
gone.
Flat. Look at this.
Yep.
Oh man. I wonder if we go back and see. Look, you can buy it for $2. You know, maybe you could corner the market right now on
Honestly, you know what
the
I might
bullied
do?
bears.
Yeah, I could sell the gutter. I can buy all of the supply here, so I'm the only one in the world who owns these bears, and then I can set the price on them, and I'll still make, $10,000 the gutter. So I think
That
that's
might
what
not
I'm
be a
gonna
bad
do.
idea, dude. If you just set the floor price at like 0.1, somebody might go, huh? You know, like why is this at 0.1? Well, you just control the whole floor.
There it is, yeah. So in lieu of that, we're bringing bully bears back to life. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're giving some away. First
Yeah,
giveaway,
our
bully
next
bears.
Twitter Spaces, we're giving like 400 of them out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it was a great opportunity though for me to like I learned a couple of things. Maybe this would be something cool to talk about. One of the first things that I learned is my style personally. I like to wait until projects are going to mint out or have minted out before I'm going to jump in. I think that's the first lesson I learned here. I tried to get in on the ground floor. I thought that all projects mint out instantly, and let me tell you guys that is not the case, right? All projects do not mint equally. Some mint out instantly, some do the slow grind. Uh, there's not necessarily a right or wrong from that perspective, in terms of like how you value the project. But I'll just say my style personally, I like to see what's going to happen before I hop in, and that's one of the first lessons that I learned from this project here.
and your taste changes. Like you get in and you get on some projects, and then you look back, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. Get some new stuff in your inventory. So what are your holdings right now? Like what are the projects that you have in your wallet that you're into?
Yeah, if we'd have done this show one day ago, I would have had a longer list. I did some spring cleaning. Hey, great reminder, everybody. Spring's right around the corner. Time of love, time of dust, time of allergies. Do some cleaning in your home, but do it in your wallets here in Web3 as well. And so that's what I did last night. That being said, my top holdings are obviously my gutter cat, and that's what I'm the most excited for. I'm actually in the market to maybe buy another OG as we speak. Uh, Next to that, my next favorite holding is there it is. Alien Friends. Are you
It's a good
friend yet?
project.
Yes, that one was also really awesome for me. I was able to get in low using that. Let me see if it's going to mint out strategy. And I only bought one friend. His name's Buck. You guys might know him. He's the most famous alien in the Friendverse. But so yeah, so I'm holding an alien friend. I'm holding a gutter. I would say my other top two holds right now would be Tasty Bones. Thus the Web3 DJ logo that we have up
Yeah,
there.
that one shot up. That's the one that
Yeah,
you told me like, hey, I'm in. And I was like, but you've been picking some good ones lately. Like I gotta give
yeah,
it to you,
yeah,
man.
definitely. And then I am also in the family. So Maurice, stand up. I'm here with you. How
Nice.
about yourself?
Okay, so I came back and I had 5 crypto cannabis clubs after minting 19. That was the first project that I really went big on a mint because I actually figured out how to do it. So I just kept pressing the mint button. I was like, should I get more? Guys like, yeah, get as many as you want. So I just kept pressing. So I had 19. I think I gave 3 of them away. I gave my brother one. I gave, just people in spaces. Back then it was like, wag me. Oh, it was just like everybody was so, happy and
For
dude, I'm
sure.
gonna hook you up. And
It was like
yeah.
Woodstock, right? Woodstock of the Web3 age.
Yeah,
Just
last year was
peace,
nuts.
love, and yeah,
Yeah, so I gave a couple away, and so I had 4 left. So when I came back in, I think I sold off maybe 1.5 ETH was kind of like my startup money. My initial investment into Web3 was about 20 grand. And I had a bunch of crypto. I probably had 18 different cryptocurrencies. And then I slowly started selling them all off for Ethereum. And then pretty much it was like, okay, now I just have Ethereum. Now I just have NFTs. And I kind of skipped right over to that. And so after pulling that out, I started one and a half. So right now I have Dower Darcels. And like, I don't mint much. I think the last time I minted was on Solana, just because the price isn't that high. And, but like, I don't have time to stay up on all this stuff and grind and get on the whitelist. Like, that's like a full-time job if you really want to do it. Now, if you've got time and you have the hustle, like, you could get in but there's so many projects now. It's like, I don't know what's a good project and what's not a good project. I kind of like to see what happens after mint, and it usually spikes up and then it comes back down. So like the Dower Darcels, the reason I bought this one was a lot of people that I respect in the space were hyping it. And that I went on the website, I checked it out. It seemed like a pretty cool thing. I didn't expect it to shoot up to 1 ETH. So I paid, let me see, I bought this for 0.175 21 days ago.
Nice.
And
wow.
The floor price is 0.63. But if you would have been on this project a week ago, it was over 1. So this is, I bought 3 of these. I had a dog, I had a pigeon, and a rat, and I sold a couple off to get into Loser Club. This is also another project that I think is going to do well.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, actually. What's their floor at? They're somewhere around like maybe
It's
0.25,
reasonable. It
0.23.
shot all the way up to like 0.6 at one point. It's at 0.24, but like right here, look, it was at 0.59 2 weeks ago. But the project's only been out for, not even a month. Both of these projects. So, I think it's natural for projects to get a lot of hype, and then people take profits, and then all of a sudden, like another announcement or collaboration, Twitter will go crazy, and then it will shoot back up. It's very hard to time these things. So what I always do is I try to pick my strike price. Like, if I bought this thing for, especially if it's moving, I had it listed for 1.5 on Dower Darcels. And if it sold, I would have just stayed back and waited, because now you can see it's back down to like 0.6 or whatever. And then maybe I would have bought back in and then kept it and then used the money. But you have to time it right. But I'm totally fine sitting on these projects. This one's going to have the clone thing coming out on the 31st. I'm kind of like, I should have kept the other ones, but and then I bought an extra on this, but I think this is a quality project. And then you got me into this one, Weather Report, which these are kind of like my let's see what happens, long-term plays. I didn't pay much for it, but it's kind of a cool project. They've got some cool merch. I guess they're big in LA or something. I don't know. So this is what I've started back with. And then Goodle Gang, shout out Back Alley.
What's Goodle?
Got a couple of those. Want to support these guys. They're awesome. And that's what I'm working with in this wallet. If I pulled up my 3 other wallets, I've got 200 plus. I got some trash in there, dude. I wish I could pull it up and just show you some of the stuff that I bought into. What I used to do, and I didn't know that people would like manipulate their Twitter accounts. So on Rarity Tools, you could go and see what was coming out. And last year on Rarity Tools, there was only like maybe 1 or 2 projects a day coming out. So like I bought Fluff World the day after it had shot up to like 1 ETH. And I also learned a lesson on that one because it went down the next day to like 0.5 and I had to sit on it for like 2 months. But I had 4 Fluff Worlds at one point. But they were coming out very slow. And so pretty much anything you got was going to go up if it was a halfway decent project, because everybody was just so hungry to mint stuff. And now it's a little bit different. They're not all going to go up. And it seems like now, like it depends on when I have money and what projects I get. So I miss a lot of projects just because I'm trying to be disciplined and not take any more money out and put it in. I'm trying to see if, hey, if I can, work this stack up and just use what I've got, then it just makes me sleep better at night. So that's
Yeah.
what I got right now.
Yeah, definitely. And that's actually kind of like a great transition to something I wanted to talk about. You had said that you started with like 20 grand, which is awesome. And everybody has their own story. I just want to talk to those people out there who maybe think like, well, I don't have a plethora of money like that. I maybe the Web3 space isn't for me. Personally, my journey, I started with $100 a week, which is also, a lot of money to some people. But I started with $100 a week, and there was a couple benefits to that, right? One, I'm not going to be able to lose a lot of money because I'm not putting a lot of money in. But two, because I committed to only putting in $100 a week at first, I'm going to spend more time researching how I spend that $100 as opposed to having just a pool of money and the ability to spend it. Like that money meant more to me, and so it just allowed me to learn more about the space and learn more about the projects before buying into them. It made it so I couldn't buy every project that I wanted to buy, but the benefit of that was those projects stuck in my mind, and so I was able to follow them and understand more about the life cycle of an NFT, right? Something like you were talking about earlier, Hofstra. It seems like pre-mint if the project has, or pre-reveal, post-mint if the project has a lot of hype. In my opinion, it seems like that's when you should sell, right? And then you see the tokens dip after reveal. And so it's just like by taking time and doing your research, you start to learn things like that. And of course, it's not tried and true. It's not going to be 100%. You're not going to be able to find a one pattern fits all approach, if you will. But take your time. You can invest with any amount of money. There's a ton of opportunity out there. And so, yeah, I definitely just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, what I would do is I would start on a different chain. Ethereum's expensive. I mean, $300, you're going to get a what, 0.08, like weather
Yeah, I
report.
guess
You
now
could get
it's
into that for a
up,
couple $100. I don't know what Ethereum's at. It's like what, 3,000 right now, just under 3,000.
Yeah, I think it was like
Um,
3080.
so
But
you
yeah,
can maybe buy one project. Well, like this one my brother does. He tries to find projects that he can mint that are cheap, and he'll take a lot of zeros, but then if he gets one, it might pay off. But you got to grind it a little bit different, or you can jump on Solana, or Tezos or Cardano, or there's a bunch of other chains. But right now, like I just started messing around a lot on Tezos because Tezos is at $3, and the utility and the functionality of the platforms actually, it's really good. And there's some bigger projects and bigger name people coming into that. So if you want to understand how to set up a wallet, how to mint, how to transfer, how to use an exchange, like that's an easy platform. And Ethereum, you got to remember too, even if you have $300, it depends on what gas is at. So every time you make a transaction, it's anywhere from $20 to, back in the day it was like $200 to make a transaction. So every time you were minting, you're burning $200. If I sent you something, one time I thought my wallet got hacked, and I transferred 15 parallel alpha cards into a different wallet, and I spent like $1,000 just transferring. And then I found out my wallet wasn't hacked, and so I was like, oh
gas. Yeah.
no. Yeah, so gas is something you got to look at. And Solana and Tezos, they don't really have gas, so you can do a lot more. Now it's like, I feel like I'm speeding all the time there. Like, just it goes so fast, and you can get burned quick if you get FOMO'd in and you're hype. It's like, just a whole different ball game. But I think these guys were giving me crap about it last night. They were like totally bagging on me about Solana. And I'm like, look, I've done okay. I've got a project called Astros right now. And Astros I bought for 5 SOL, right? So $500, and it went to 15. I think it's at 14 today. So I mean, that's $1,000.
Yeah, you
Easy.
can't be mad about that.
Yeah, and who knows where it's going to go? But there's a project called or a platform called Fractals now, which is just video game Solana projects, and there's there's some cool stuff going. And I just like watching that because they do different things than the Ethereum projects. And if you're just looking at innovation and what's coming next, sometimes you're going to see something on a different platform, that's ahead of what you see maybe on an Ethereum platform. So I just like staying in those different blockchains just to kind of get a leg up and stay one step ahead. But that would be my advice if you were new. I'd like try Solana, try Tezos. Once you kind of understand what's going on and you want to take a bigger investment, it's like playing this penny slots and then working your way up to like the $5 slots.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, and I think that's a great way to illustrate kind of the difference between the blockchains there. And so that being said, for all of you who are interested in Tezos, Hofstra's been talking about it, been trying to get me onboarded. I think we're gonna do a video where he's gonna onboard me onto Tezos, literally just like any of you who aren't familiar with the blockchain. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely let us know and look out for that. Another thing though that you were talking about that some people might not be familiar with is gas, right? And so gas, for lack of a better phrase, is just how we pay the bills here in Ethereum, right? Wouldn't you say that's a good way to describe it?
I think I like it like a credit card transaction, but a very expensive one that
And,
fluctuates.
right. And so basically gas is just like the layman's term for how we're powering the transactions on the blockchain, right? And again, we have to pay for it. It ain't free, at least on Ethereum.
Yeah, well, and we'll see with Ethereum 2.0. That's one of the things on ETH projects that I'm like, long term, if someone figures out how to do it quicker, faster, and the projects are better. Yeah, I know Ethereum has a huge head start with adoption and the premier projects, but as more people get into the space, if the average person's not going to spend $50 a transaction if they can spend nothing and they don't see the difference, I think there's some risk there. But yeah, gas is. I didn't even know what gas was when I first started. Like people were talking about gas wars, and I was like, "What is a gas war?" And then when I started minting, and I couldn't mint because someone was beating me, they were paying more. They would increase their slippage to get to the head of the line, or they would do different things to beat me out. Then I was like, "Oh, that's what gas is." Oh, okay. And then wait a second, I just got charged $200 and my transaction didn't go through. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Or I just got charged $200 for something that cost me $60. Like, what do you mean? How is this happening? Or a $100 mint? Yeah, absolutely.
So gas has come down a lot, which is cool this year, but you always have to factor that in. And even if you're selling and like if you're flipping, you have to factor what gas is. Then you have to factor the royalty charge and what OpenSea takes. So like you can't like if you buy something for 0.08 and you sell it at 0.1, you're probably not going to make any money. So you have to have a bigger increase, like a 2 at least or 3x to compensate for that. And if you don't get in, get out on some of these projects and you get stuck holding, it's going to be harder for you to make your money and to liquidate. So always pay attention to the gas price.
Yeah, which it's cliche, but one of the phrases that me and my friends like to live by is always take profits. Period. Right? Simple as that. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. I know it's obviously easier said than done. If I always took profits, I would be in a much better position than I am in right now. But I mean, it's the truth. If you can take the emotion out of it, always take profits. Nobody ever went broke doing that. And so if you have an opportunity to grab them, yeah, definitely don't hesitate to do so.
Right. I want to kick myself for I had 4 fluff worlds, right? And fluff it shot up to like 1 and then it sat at like 0.5. It was bouncing between 0.5 and 1 for months. And once it came back, I sold the 2 females and the 2 males and I made money. And then 2 months later, it shot up to 6. I was like, but then I have to remember, I'm like, but I took profits, I didn't get burned. I'm okay,
Yeah, 100%. And this is what I was talking to my fiance about today is like, you can't think about the what ifs, right? One of the largest growths that I've had in any sort of trading space is just like you cannot think about the what ifs, right? Once you've done something, you just have to accept that, be happy with the decision that you made. And I'm not saying don't follow what could have been, because there's always great learning opportunities, but don't let that thought of, oh man, this project's going to be the next Bored Ape, like, let you
Everything's blue chip.
let you bag hold something into the ground when you had an opportunity to make money on it, is basically what I'm saying here. I mean, again, that's another large opportunity that I ran into. Whenever I joined, man, it was the age of like the crypto rocks. I don't know if you remember that. A rock had sold for $20 million.
It's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, and punks and the apes were always on the front page. That's what
It's still on the
all
front page.
well, I just
But
mean that's all anyone talked about ever, and so I was thinking just like, wow, all NFTs must go up. And yeah, exactly. You can't think that, right? And it won't be the next ape. At least not in the short term, right? Who knows what'll
right.
happen in the long run, but just yeah, don't let the emotion take control, because you will get stuck bag holding. Yeah, look at my wallet. I've got bags in there that
It's
nobody
like you don't
wants.
want to look at it. You're like,
Yeah,
don't
definitely.
look at that.
Yep.
So
I'm like,
this was our first show. We wanted to put something out because we talk about NFTs. I mean, we're on Discord every single night for hours just talking about NFTs. And my in real life friends, they don't do NFTs. So the only people that I have found that speak the language, that are hyped, that are into it, have been on Twitter, or I've met them on Twitter and we've become friends in Discord. But I mean, we talk every single night. So being that this was our first show, what do you think we should talk about on our next show?
yeah, I think that's a great question. And first, we'd love to hear from you guys. Anybody that watches the show, for sure, definitely let us know what you would like to hear about. Otherwise, I think it would be really cool for us to talk about maybe different buying strategies. Something that you and I had tossed around is like, okay, let's buy something under, I don't know, let's say point one, and follow the story and see how it goes. And so I kept that in the back of my mind. But you also brought up Rarity Tools today. And so I think that's, another fun angle to that. I can incorporate how I would go about evaluating a project post mint, how I determine the value between one picture and another picture, right? One token and another token. Why does this guy with green hair seem to be more valued than this guy with blue hair, right? And so we can walk you through that and kind of the process, at least that I take. It's not a one size fit all. Something that you
Mm-mm.
had said previously, in our chats, is that just like music, you might like rock and roll, I might like jazz, but both of the albums that we're listening to, might go platinum. And so there's multiple roads to success here. And so just because I adapt my strategy doesn't mean it'll work for you, and doesn't mean that you can't do it better. And so I think that'd be really cool for us to kind of highlight uh, in an upcoming episode. How about you?
Okay.
Do you have anything
Yeah, yeah.
specific?
So why don't we do this? We'll both like pick 3 projects, right? You got to do your research. Have to be under
Mhm.
point one, and then we'll be on a show and we'll show how to research a project, or at least how we research a project. We'll
Oh
go over
yeah,
Rarity Tools, maybe show you a list of different tools you can use, and then the whole buying process. I don't think any of them are going to be mints, and I don't I don't know if that's necessary because you'd have to get on a whitelist and the whole
right,
thing. But
right,
like
right,
stuff
right.
that's already been out, and and then we'll come back maybe a week later and see if it happened. We might just get stuck with like a bunch of shitty JPEGs. But you never know. You buy a project that's been sitting for a long time, and all of a sudden there's this resurgence and some new news comes out. It could go up. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, absolutely. I think the beauty of the space is that like people are saying we're laying the groundwork now, right? We're the pioneers of the space, and it's like that's false. The people that come after us will be the pioneers of the space. We're like laying the foundation that everything else will be built upon. And so, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Um, I think FOMO is a huge driver of value in this space, fear of missing out. But yeah, we'd love to walk you guys through how we determine it, how we determine value and what we like to buy.
cool. Well, so how can they follow you? What's your Twitter handle?
Yeah, so my Twitter handle is, let me see, I can do a little cool thing here. My Twitter handle is at Jones Sticky. I don't know if it's flashing down there.
Boom.
There
There you go.
it is, at Jones Sticky. And your Twitter, is it at
At
Hofstra?
No, it won't come up. It's at J Lahoff.
Oh yeah, J.
JLAHOFF. It's funny because I never used Twitter. A year ago, I think I created a Twitter, but I never used it. And now I'm on Twitter all the time. Like, that's the other thing. If you're gonna get into NFTs, like, step one, get Twitter. Like, that's like the first thing you need to do, because everybody that talks about NFTs is on Twitter. And then step two would probably, get OpenSea. But yep, that's how you find me. And actually, can you share my screen real quick, or I'll do this?
Oh yeah.
So this is me right here with my Loser Club PFP. I'm gonna put this up right here. Cool. Well, I think that's about it. That was pretty fun, man. We'll definitely come do another one, and I like that idea for the next show.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like you said, this is our first show, so thank you for everybody who joined in. It's only going to get better from here. Web3 is still growing. Something new is happening every single day. We'd love for you guys to come grow with us.
Yeah, and we got to say it right. Like, subscribe, comment.
And in the words of Steve will do it, we'll see you on the tripod.
Peace.
Peace.